In the future, a big spaceship called Nostromo is carrying 20 million tons of minerals back to Earth. There are 7 people and a cat on board who are sleeping in pods. Suddenly, the ship's computer, known as Mother, wakes everyone up. Captain Dallas goes to talk to Mother to find out what's wrong, while the rest of the crew checks the ship. Navigator Lambert is worried because she can't find Earth on the screen and realizes they're not in the solar system anymore. Eventually, she finds Earth on a map and sees they're much farther away than they thought. Warrant Officer Ripley tries to contact traffic control, but there's no response. Dallas gathers the crew and explains that Mother interrupted their sleep because she intercepted a strange transmission. She wants them to check it out. The transmission seems to be a repeating sound, but they don't know if it's an SOS or from humans. The crew is annoyed because they're not a rescue ship, but Dallas reminds them they won't get paid if they don't follow the signal. They follow the signal to an unknown planet, but as they get closer, the ship starts shaking, and they hear strange noises outside. They manage to land, but there's a big explosion that damages the ship. The crew rushes to put out fires and fix the damage. They discover they have a hole in the ship, and it will take at least 25 hours to fix it. Dallas is frustrated because most of the ship's channels are dead. The planet's environment is windy and dangerous. Science Officer Ash tells Dallas that sunrise is coming soon. Executive Officer C volunteers to go look for the transmission with Dallas and Lambert. They suit up and head out into the windy, dark planet. Meanwhile, Ripley keeps trying to find the signal on the ship's system. The trio explores and finds a huge abandoned spacecraft. Lambert is worried, but the others ignore her and keep going. The closer they get to the ship, the worse their communication gets. The group goes into the strange ship and finds a fossilized alien sitting in a chair. Dallas notices that the bones of the alien seem to have burst outward from his body, as if it exploded from the inside. In another room, Kane discovers a big hole in the floor that connects to the Nostromo. Ripley tells Ash that Mother decoded the transmission, revealing it as a warning rather than an SOS. While the trio explores, Kane goes down the hole and finds a cave with strange leathery objects that look like eggs. When he touches the mist covering the eggs, a high-pitched humming sound fills the air. Suddenly, Kane falls, but he quickly gets up and touches one of the eggs, which makes a shrieking sound. The top of the egg opens, revealing something inside. Kane looks closer and the creature bursts out, attaching itself to his helmet and causing him to fall unconscious. Lambert and Dallas bring the unconscious Kane back to the Nostromo, but Ripley refuses to open the door because of the risk of infection. An argument breaks out, and despite Ripley's protests, Ash opens the door. Kane and the alien are taken to the infirmary, where the crew scans Kane's body. They find that the alien has attached itself to Kane's head, but he's still alive. Ash attempts to remove one of the alien's limbs using surgical tongs, but the limb tightens around Kane's throat instead. They place Kane in a pod for an X-ray, revealing that the alien has inserted a limb into his throat to provide oxygen, putting him in a coma. Dallas and Ash decide to cut the creature off, but when they make a small incision, a corrosive fluid pours out, burning through the ship's floors. The crew follows the fluid's path, realizing it's a defense mechanism of the alien. Meanwhile, Brett and Parker continue repairs, and Kane runs tests, discovering the alien's rapid cell regeneration. Ripley criticizes Kane for letting the alien aboard, but Ash insists on focusing on his job. Later, Dallas, Ash, and Ripley find Kane's face exposed, prompting them to search for the alien. It falls on Ripley, who pushes it off, revealing it's seemingly dead. Ash prods it, but believes it's just reflexes. Upon closer examination, they see the creature's insides opening up. Ripley wants to dispose of it, but Ash argues it's the first of its kind they've seen and should be taken to Earth for study. Dallas allows Ash to keep the alien, much to Ripley's frustration. In private, Ripley expresses her distrust of Ash to Dallas. When the repairs are completed, the Nostromo finally departs the planet and heads toward Earth. The crew discusses the possibility of freezing Kane to prevent the potential spread of a disease, but Ash interrupts, informing them of Kane's changed condition. They rush to the infirmary and are relieved to find Kane awake and seemingly well. He recalls only a horrifying dream about suffocation on the planet. During dinner, Kane eats heartily but suddenly chokes and falls ill. As he has a seizure and falls back on the table, his chest bursts open and an alien covered in human blood emerges. The crew tries to restrain him, but the alien shrieks and flees the room before Parker can grab a knife, despite Ash warning him not to touch it. The crew searches for the alien but can't find it. After wrapping up Kane's body and ejecting it into space, they decide to conduct a thorough search of the ship. Brett carries a sparking rod, and Ash reveals he's set up a tracking device to detect any movement by sensing changes in air density. Dallas divides the crew into two teams. He, Ash, and Lambert form one, while Ripley joins Parker and Brett in the other. They're instructed to trap the alien in the air duct once located and maintain communication. As Ripley's team ventures into a dark lower deck hallway, they realize the lights are malfunctioning again and stop to fix them. With proper lighting, they continue their search and enter a dark room where the tracker indicates activity. They scream when something jumps out, but it's only Jones the cat who scurries away. Brett chases after Jones, meowing to attract the cat's attention. Following Jones' meows, Brett discovers a strange scaly skin on the ground, which he picks up but quickly drops in disgust. Following Jones into another room, he hears an ominous sound and finds the cat hissing in a corner. Brett initially thinks Jones is hissing at him, but he soon realizes the cat is reacting to the huge alien lurking behind him. As Jones moves away, Brett turns around and finally sees the alien, which shoots out his second mouth to bite Brett's head and pull him towards the ceiling, while Jones watches from the shadows. Minutes later, Parker and Ripley inform Dallas that Brett was dragged into one of the air shafts by the creature. Dallas considers luring the creature into the airlock and ejecting it into space, but Ash points out that the alien seems adapted to their air, though they're unsure about temperature. Dallas orders Parker to set up incinerator units, and Ripley volunteers to go after the creature in the air shafts. However, Dallas insists on going himself. Before venturing into the air shafts, Dallas asks Mother for ideas on defeating the alien and the odds of survival, but receives no clear response. Reporting his progress to the group, Dallas moves through the air shafts with Ripley opening and closing hatches for him, while Lambert monitors the alien's movements on the screen. Dallas reaches the third junction where he discovers strange slime. Using his flamethrower for light, he sees nothing, but suddenly the alien reappears on the radar, heading straight for him. Lambert warns him to leave, and Dallas starts climbing up quickly, but he can't see the alien. As Dallas enters another chamber, Lambert screams as the light reveals the alien. The radar goes static, and the crew loses track of Dallas's location. They try to contact him, but there's no response. Parker then finds Dallas's flamethrower in the cockpit where he was attacked, but there's no sign of Dallas or blood. Lambert suggests fleeing in the shuttle, but Ripley reminds them it won't hold all four of them. An argument ensues until Ripley calms everyone down and proposes a plan to trap the alien by cutting off every vent. Meanwhile, Ripley visits Mother to request enhancements, but Mother refuses, stating they're for the science officer's eyes only. Ripley presses for more information, and Mother reveals that Ash has programmed the ship to prioritize returning the alien to Earth for analysis, making the crew expendable. Ash suddenly appears, claiming there's an explanation, but Ripley, furious, grabs him and pushes him to the ground before rushing out to contact the others. However, the doors suddenly close, and despite Ripley's orders, Ash refuses to open them, trapping her inside. Suddenly, a strange white fluid appears on Ash's head, causing his face to twitch. Ripley attempts to escape, but Ash grabs her by the hair, making her fall and tearing out some strands. As she tries to crawl away, Ash grabs her by the jacket and throws her against the wall. He then forces a magazine into her mouth, intending to kill her. Just as Ripley struggles against Ash, Parker and Lambert arrive and attack him. In the struggle, Ash injures Parker's chest, but they manage to hit him with a fire extinguisher. Ash starts malfunctioning and white fluid shoots out of his neck. Parker hits him again, causing Ash's head to pop off, revealing wires and fluid, confirming he's actually an android unbeknownst to the crew. The headless body continues to attack Parker until Lambert stabs it, making it stop. Later, the crew examines Ash's body and concludes that the company must have wanted the alien for the weapon division. They plug in Ash's head, which slowly reanimates as more white fluid pours from his mouth. Ripley demands answers about the special order, and Ash explains that his sole priority is to bring back the life form, with all other orders rescinded. When Ripley asks Ash how to kill the alien, he tells her it's impossible because it's a perfect organism. After disconnecting Ash's head, Ripley informs the others that they'll blow up the ship and escape in the shuttle. Parker incinerates Ash's remains, and Lambert and Parker go to get coolant while Ripley prepares the shuttle. While working on the shuttle, Ripley hears Jones mewing over the speaker and decides to go find him. In the cockpit, she's startled by a rustling sound, but it's just Jones. She puts him in his carrier and continues her preparations. Meanwhile, Lambert and Parker are gathering supplies when they realize the alien is in the room with them. Parker tells Lambert to move, but there's no space. The alien closes in on Lambert, and Parker tries to help, but the creature captures them both. Ripley hears their screams through the intercom but arrives too late to save them. Distraught, Ripley initiates the ship's self-destruct sequence and heads back to the shuttle. Using the flamethrower for light, she descends some stairs and discovers an organic structure adhering to the walls and machinery. To her horror, she finds Dallas barely alive and seemingly fused with the structure. Nearby, she sees Brett transforming into an object resembling the eggs from earlier. Weakly, Dallas begs for mercy, so Ripley reluctantly burns both him and the alien with a flamethrower. She emerges from a hatch, retrieves Jones, and rushes to the shuttle. However, she realizes the alien is nearby, so she carefully flees, leaving Jones behind. The alien stares at Jones and hits his box. Back at the computer, Ripley tries to stop the detonation process but fails. She angrily hits the motherboard before rushing back to the shuttle. She finds Jones' carrier on the ground, but the cat is unharmed. As fire engulfs the hallway, Ripley makes her way to the cockpit and takes off just before the Nostromo explodes. Once in the shuttle, Ripley prepares for sleep, but she suddenly realizes the alien is hiding on board. She puts on a spacesuit, grabs a harpoon gun, and lures the alien into the airlock. With a burst of steam, she sends it flying. The alien clings to the door, so Ripley shoots it with the harpoon gun, sending it into space. Ripley records a report of the events and joins Jones in the sleeping pod, finally safe from the alien's threat. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.